Now, coming up, is being an adult making you lose your sense of self and excitement for life? Do you remember a day when you were young and could marvel at even the smallest things? Well, it's possible to do that again. We're looking at how to bring more play into your adult life with a positive psychology play coach. That's next. Grown-up or adult play is a thing, and it's not sexual or a kink, by the way, if you're wondering. It's based...
I don't think anyone was taking it there. You always take it there for some reason.
Saying.
Always.
It's based around bringing more play and, childlike energy into your life. And before you say, well, that's not practical, or here goes another TED Talk, keep listening and you might discover a few things that could help you add some play into your life. And joining us for that now is positive psychology play coach Jeff Harry. Thanks for being here.
Thanks so much for having me. Super excited.
Yes, I am too. I love this whole thing. Why is play looked at as just something kids do? When did we lose that as adults?
It's when you went to the playground for the last time and you just didn't go back. I think a lot of people forget that last moment when they left and then they were just like, I need to now be an adult. I need to now play this role. I need to now be serious. And what's really interesting, especially during these like COVID quarantine times, is like, because everyone had this like dream of what 2020 was going to be like, and they had to let that go. A lot of people are not able to let it go and actually mourn the fact that 2020 is not happening the way it should. Right. But look at kids. Kids are like, all right, whatever. All right, new thing, and if you're able to embrace that like playful, adventurous, thrilling, like uncertainty, then you find out it's a super cool, fun ride.
I've been so ready for this conversation because I want to rain on your parade. Because honestly,
that's Ryan's jam here. By the way.
That's like my favorite thing. I'm not going to lie to you. This idea of like, obviously in a moment, like you say, COVID, it's really hard for people to even find that. It's hard for people to say, okay, well, I need to live a little bit during this time. What's the balance of allowing positivity and play in your life, but also not falling into the toxic positivity space?
Completely agree. Yeah. I mean, the whole idea of positive psychology is the idea of studying how people flourish. It's not about being positive all the time.
Okay, cool.
It's about this idea of allowing all of the emotions to fall through you, right? So like, this is a crazy time, right? The Black Lives Matters resurgence, the fact that COVID, there's this crazy dude in the White House. Like there's so many different emotions. And what I see kids doing mostly is they allow all of those emotions to happen at the same time. You can be sad and happy. You can take risks and also be scared. You can like have fear and also be excited. You can hold all those emotions together.
But kids aren't unemployed and they don't got to pay bills.
Yeah, there's that real life stress.
Yeah.
No, that's the reality. Like right now, many of my former colleagues, because I used to play with Lego a lot. That was one of my jobs that I had. One of my former employees now is like famous on TikTok, and that they just embrace the play of that. Yeah. During the quarantine times. And at some point, she's probably going to ask her followers, hey, help me find a job. And through play, she might be able to get it that way. So it's like, it's just taking a different approach, on how to tackle your issues.
Again, we are talking to positive psychology play coach Jeff Harry. So let's talk about, what does adult play consist of exactly? And how do you integrate it into a life that could be busy? All right, there's the one extreme, someone's single and no kids, so they have time on their hands.
I tell you, it always goes back to that. Somewhat. It always goes
Then there's
back.
the other extreme of people that have kids and married, and there's a lot of pressure and stress. So how do you integrate that adult play into their lives?
I think you first have to tie back to like, what is it that brought you so much joy as a kid? What was that play that brought you fully present? The way I define play is when you are fully present, not thinking about past, not thinking about the future, and almost forgetting about time. And you can do that even if it's for like 3 to 4 to 5 minutes in a day. So I would tell someone to be like, think about what did you love to do as a kid? I love to make these like massive epic board games and then have my sisters play it, which they hated, by the way. But I realized through that my core play values were experience, adventure, and connection. So once you like look back at what your play was as a child, think about what those play values personify, and then be like, what can I do now that ties into that? And whether you're only devoting 5 minutes to it or you're able to devote like 6 hours to it, it's awesome. And also when you're playing with your kids, you don't have to just play their way. You can show them how you play. And that's another way in which you can incorporate more play in your life.
When we were reading this article that inspired this conversation in the New York Times, they talked about how adults, they need a result. Like, why am I doing this? What's the reason why I'm doing that? So how do we switch our mindsets and our mind frame into not needing a result to just have fun?
Well, I think you got to first remind yourself that expectations are the thief of joy, right? Is that when you get so fixated on one result, you ignore all of the amazing opportunities that are in front of you, right? Why would you even do that? Especially when you go travel, you have that travel-oriented, play-oriented mindset where you say yes to everything. And then all of a sudden your day starts off with you hopping on a motorcycle with a random stranger. And at the end, you're on an island partying and you're like, how did this happen? Because you were open just saying yes to whatever happened. Why can't we do more of that? One of the best questions I love to ask people, I learned this from my friend Desiree, was like, always asking yourself whenever something positive happens, being like, how can it get any better than this? And you literally are then priming your brain to look for the next awesome thing that's going to happen.
Well, Jeff Harry, you've put a lot of great ideas into our minds and our hearts today.
Yeah, I think I like this guy.
Yeah. You think? Well, yeah, that's a good start for Ryan, actually. Thank you again. And now the DNC is happening right now. But could this be the last one we witness? What you need to know about the convention's coming up in 10 minutes.